Patagonia and its founder and his family transferring all of the ownership of the company to a trust which will help fight climate change. Joining us right now in studio is Patagonia CEO Ryan Gellert. It's nice to see you this morning. This is a story that's really almost taken over the country by storm in terms of this idea that here's a family that says we don't want to be billionaires. That was never our intent, and we're going to put this thing into a trust. Tell us the story behind the story. Did you and to the point that we were talking about even during the commercial break, the idea that the whole country seems to be to some degree mesmerized by this. I mean, just in terms of the number of headlines about it.
Yeah, I mean, as we were talking about on the break, I'm as shocked as anybody that that's the case. I think the thing I've taken away from that is people need some good news right now, and I think when I've read comments online and on social media, and people, some of whom don't seem to have a close relationship with Patagonia, say, I just got emotional reading this morning is pretty shocking. But how did this happen? A couple of years ago, we had conversations, a very small group, and Ivan and his family made it very clear that after thinking for decades, what are we going to do with this company we built? We need to find a solution for that.
How do you think this actually changes the company itself? You've run it as a private company. Ivan's clearly said he wants to keep it as a private company, doesn't believe it should be a publicly traded company. Thinks that almost perverts the process of managing a business like this. There's some people who worry, though, that when you're not a private company out to make money necessarily, that might, quote unquote, pervert or at least change the incentives or dynamics around it.
I think that what people fail to understand about Patagonia, both the past and today and the future, is that we're unapologetically a for-profit business. We're extremely competitive. The Chouinards are extremely competitive about the business. We focus on making high-quality products, standing behind that product for the usable life of it. And we compete with every other company in our space aggressively. So I don't think we've lost that instinct.
But do you think that changes at all in terms of how this shifts? And does it change even in terms of like compensation, pay over time? Do you think that that's going to become an issue?
No, I don't. And the fundamental thing, and you mentioned that the Chouinards have given the company away to a trust. We've actually structured it as two trusts. And so the first is a purpose trust, and the sole purpose of that is to ensure we continue to run the company according to the values. And then the other is the Holdfast Collective, and that's where the profits of the company will go that we'll use to cash flow the environment. But I think this whole thing fails if we don't continue to run a competitive business, and included in that is taking care of our people.
I think part of the question is who sits on the boards of each of those trusts,
yeah,
especially the one that is looking over the profits of the company. That matters.
Yeah, and that will evolve, but right now it is the family and some of their closest advisors.
I've got a question about taxes. We talk about taxes around this table constantly.
Yeah.
And we talk about the role of philanthropy in taxes, whether philanthropy should be taxed, shouldn't be taxed, whether philanthropists are effectively being subsidized by the rest of us because oftentimes their money is not being taxed.
Yeah.
The way this is structured, and there's been a little bit of confusion, I think, in terms of how it was rolled out on this issue to some degree, effectively means that there are no capital gains taxes paid on the build of the empire, if you will. How do you think the country should feel about that? And how do the founders feel about that?
Yes, so that has been discussed quite widely over the last week. I think that was something that we anticipated, as has been reported. I think you wrote on this, that the founders paid taxes on the 2% that were transferred to the Purpose Trust and not on the capital gains.
And that was about $17.5 million.
That's correct. Yeah, so let's say two things. Number one, we've got a history of always paying our taxes. We're very much a company that believes in that. We're very much a company that has avoided complex structures, both in the U.S. and globally, to sidestep taxes. We're actually one of the few companies that have lobbied consistently and publicly for higher taxes, particularly in support of climate legislation.
But was the tax calculation at all part of the thinking in terms of the structure of this vehicle? I have to assume at some level there has to have been some
with the family,
contemplation
it
of
was
it.
Never a conversation in 2 years. With us, as we explored options and ultimately zeroed in on this combination of things, absolutely we were not. It was not lost on us, the tax benefit via the 501c4. But with the family, it was very clear from the beginning there were two goals that they were focused on. Create a structure that can ensure the integrity and the values of Patagonia, and cash flow the environment in more meaningful ways now.
Ryan, I thought Yvonne said in the New York Times that part of this was they looked at other structures and couldn't do it the way they wanted with other structures.
That's correct.
Probably in large part because of what the taxes would have done. You would have lost control.
That wasn't the case. No, it was controlling the company. So we looked seriously at taking the company public.
But that's what I mean. Because of the taxes, you would have lost control of the company.
No,
too.
we would have lost control of the company by selling the company. So had we taken it public, or had we sold a minority that was going to transfer into more than that, or of course selling a majority. Right. We felt like we had very little confidence in meeting with quite a few potential investors that the integrity of the company would be protected.